Hi guys, how are you? I hope you are all super well. There's another question people ask me. Is there a cure for stuttering? Yes or not? And the truth is that stuttering can be cured. Yes, absolutely. And the truth is that the topic of whether it can be cured or it does not have a cure, that cure comes like camouflaged, like with a hidden gift, like when you are given a bomb and you do not know it's a bomb, and boom, it explodes. It is like that. The word cure has a lot to do with the subject of illness, right? When I have an illness, I am looking for a cure. I want to rid myself of that illness because it hurts me a lot. It frightens me. For me, it's a pain. But stuttering is not like that. Stuttering is something very beautiful. It is a gift. It is something to look at, to understand, to see. It is a process to overcome. That is why there is no talk of a cure, but rather of empowerment. That's why I am not a psychologist, a speech therapist, or a doctor. I am a person with power who understands. Stuttering, because I have the power to see stuttering, and all people who stutter have the power to see it. What happens is that one is full of labels, and one of the labels is the C, cure for stuttering. And stuttering does have a cure, but not in that sense. In the topic of overcoming, empowerment, and correction. And there are two types of acquiring stuttering, so to speak. The first would be genetic. That it is not only genetic, but it has many factors around it that give it much more power. Both social factors and those in childhood development, all of which make stuttering carry much more weight. And stuttering also develops throughout this childhood process. Both can be overcome and both can be corrected. What happens, and the problem for people, is that there's a little bell. And when I talk about the bell, I always remember Louis Me. I talk about the bell, and it's the bell curve. In the center are all the people who have not overcome it and have not corrected it. And on the sides are the people who have overcome it and corrected it. And what happens is that people do this. Ding, ding, ding. They cut the ends and leave the middle, leave everyone there and say, oh, it can't be overcome, it can't be corrected. If you see, I did say it, and they avoid it, and they don't see that there are many people who have overcome it. And that happened to me. When I was in the process of overcoming it, I watched videos of people who had overcome it and had corrected it. And I said, wow, incredible. I watched and I said, no, that can't be true. I mean, I've been dealing with this for so many years. No, that's not it. And then I started looking for people who hadn't overcome it and who said things like, you can't. This is for life. You have to live like this now. This is very complicated. This is very difficult. And that's how you have to live life. And that's it. And anyone who tells you this and like that, that's a lie. That's just smoke. That's false. That can be true. And then you go in with the idea that it can't be done. And I remember, I knew many people in my life, and I know many, and I knew many speech therapists, and most of them, told me that it couldn't be overcome and couldn't be corrected. Most. Moreover, I remember in college, it was a very complicated stage. One of the most difficult stages I experienced with stuttering. It was in college. And I remember that I was very bad. I remember that I was super bad with stuttering. Well, I was always bad. But there are always some occasions. And I know that many will understand that, that the emotional part gets triggered and you're in a bad state. And then I went to a psychologist there at the university who was also like a psychologist, also managed things like speech. So I went to him and told him, I told him everything I was experiencing. I told him all about the stuttering, how I experienced the stuttering and everything. And he said to me, I have a friend. I told him he has a stutter. I'm going to ask him what he thinks about it and so on. But I don't know. And then, anyway, I had already met with him several times because I didn't tell people that I had this. and that I felt very bad, but I told them once I gained trust. Obviously, the person realized right away that I had a stutter. And then when I met with him again, he told me, man, the thing is, with stuttering, there's nothing to be done. I mean, I know it will be very difficult for you. You have to live life like that, and there's nothing to be done. And that guy told me that, and I remember I broke down, like literally, I said, swallow me whole. That guy literally broke me. Moreover, have you seen Troy, when here, he takes the spear and sticks it into Hector like this and says, boom. And Hector says, that guy literally stabbed my soul. In fact, I remember that I started crying right there. And obviously, I understand him because he tried to tell me. I mean, he wasn't very bad, because some might be wondering, oh no, how could that guy say that to you? And all that. But he didn't say it badly. He chose his words to tell me. In fact, I remember he even turned red. He got sad when he told me. And also, people have to understand that most people don't say things to hurt you. They say things because they don't know. So they tell you things because somehow they think it will help you or think you will accept it. And I remember that guy broke me there and I started crying. In fact, I remember that I left there and I was still crying. And I started to think and I said, dude, how difficult stuttering is, how painful and everything. And I remember that at that moment I gave up. Because there are two very different things in this life. Giving up and resigning. When you give up, you say, dude, everything ends here. When you resign yourself, you say, I lived it very sadly. It's very difficult for me. But I am going to move forward. And at that moment, literally, that guy broke me. And from there, I continued feeling bad. And I said, there's nothing more to do. And I just carried on normally. With the stuttering, thinking the same way. Practically, whether I was or wasn't. It was the same, I mean literally, it really was the same. It even gave me something to say. You can do it. And like to feel a pinch of peace. But that pinch of peace is a lie. Because before it's a horror. Because you know, and you label yourself as someone who can't. That it cannot be corrected. And also, obviously, I have to be very honest. And I have always liked being very honest and saying things as they are. And say, dude, overcoming stuttering is not easy. I mean, it's not like I'm giving you a magic cure, like Louis Mills says, right? Like I have a magic wand and say, hey, overcome stuttering, and that's it. It's gone. The next day you'll be fine, and you'll say, wow, great. Because stuttering has to be the longest process. With stuttering, it can be longer or shorter, depends on the person, is in the mental part. For example, at that moment, do you think I was going to overcome stuttering? At that moment, when that guy told me that, and I was thinking negatively, because I was already defeated. Literally, I had been defeated for a long time. What happened was that at that moment, it was giving up all at once. And moreover, I remember, stories always come to me. I remember that later, a doctor would contact me and gave me a bunch of therapies, like writing with the left hand, writing with the right hand, starting to read some things, and honestly, that and nothing were the same. And well, that's it. That's it. It's that all processes are not easy. I mean, the word easy is a lie. If it's simple, if you follow a process, from which some people have done it, but most don't, because most people take scissors and cut the edges and leave the center. The center is where the majority is. And then people start saying it's what others say is that those have not had stuttering, it's that they don't stutter. Actually, that's a lie. And then one is left like, no. I mean, what the heck are you saying? You know what I mean? Then people are left with that idea, and it is quite sad. And if you start searching on Google, On YouTube, in many places, you will find many people who have overcome stuttering, and here is one of them in the flesh and blood. And also I have seen many kids and people and adults that they have overcome stuttering and have corrected it. Many have overcome it and said, man, honestly, I feel fine stuttering, I have no problem, that's it. And many have overcome it and said, man, I would like to advance a bit more and also improve fluency, and they have corrected it. And obviously, there are many who have not overcome it or corrected it because they have not followed the path, because they simply do not see and keep saying that's a lie. The good thing about right now is that stuttering has evolved. Well, it's not that it has evolved, but things nowadays are more practical, they are simpler, especially with technology. You can see yourself more easily, you can realize things. Obviously, the problem with technology and things is that it no longer allows us in some way to face things. I can, for example, hide. For me, university was very easy in certain ways because I had chat. I had WhatsApp. I also had a bulletin board where I could put things. I had the technology, and so I camouflaged with that. I had everything. And so it's not like you face situations, but you already hide and show things, right? The digital part or whatever they ask of you, that's it. And that somehow does not allow you to show yourself. Be just as you are, because that's where you need to see yourself and you start realizing how you're thinking. I also finish with a phrase, and it's that many people will obviously always tell you or maybe do what I do, and that's super okay. I love it. Moreover, the people who overcome stuttering, literally as a hobby or life plan, they have to do what I do. Help others. Because you are going to surpass yourself much more. And seeing people overcome stuttering is incredible. I receive messages from people. Oh, Rafe, thank you very much. You helped me overcome stuttering. Your content helps me a lot. Look, your book was great. Your videos and whatnot. It's impressive. And obviously, they don't know that I'm not. I am simply an example that they see, but they should take the lead. There are many people who will tell you that stuttering is not always cured. Or I would look really good if I told you that stuttering is not always cured. And it's true, many do not get cured because they haven't given it their all. Obviously, someone will criticize me and say, oh, it's just that you think everyone is the same as you. And that's true. The majority are not like me, nor are they like the people who overcome it, because not everyone is going to give it their all. I literally gave everything to overcome stuttering and to correct it. Everything. It's impossible that if you give it your all, you don't overcome stuttering. It's impossible. At least something has to yield results. If I go with a goal to achieve a project and I gave it my all, at least I will receive something. At least I will get some results. It's like someone trying to be the best. They might not achieve it, but at least it will be there, brushing up against the best. And if it doesn't reach the best, at least it is there, trying to be among the best, and at least it has results. That's how it is, and that's how it will always be in all areas of life. So I can't say like stuttering is not always cured. Stuttering is always cured. What happens is that you have to give it 100%. That's right. And I understand this part very well. There are people who don't manage to completely overcome it, and they don't manage to correct it. And that's okay. And it's okay, because everyone is different. But that doesn't mean that then I would say to you, oh, you needed more. You had to give it your all. Obviously, I understand that not everyone is the same. And there are certain people who perhaps in their process, or I don't know, their childhood experience were emphasized a lot with the I can't, or reaching a certain limit, or a lot of things. But I cannot lie that if you give everything you've got, you'll make it. Because if you give your all, you will overcome and literally correct the stuttering. Literally. Because I experienced it, and many people who were with me experienced it. And many people who weren't with me, I saw them and they overcame it because they gave their all. Well, thank you very much, guys. And I hope everything goes super, 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 super well for you. Boom!